Hey guys, this is Kirop speaking, and in today's Little Dev Update we're just taking a quick look at how the Light Campaign version 1 has developed in the past week or so. We've done pretty good progress on this and mostly been focusing on improving the UI and of course fixing bugs, and there were plenty. Alright, but what has been improved in here? Well, car design still is the good old thing, as you know it. We resolved the initial problems with performance, that was an easy fix. And in here, in the car design, nothing much has changed, apart from bug fixes, so that you can't do stuff which is forbidden at the moment because of the limitations of the Light Campaign. We have just added more information into the Markets tab, which should be really handy. For example, here you see the Prestige weighting and the Reputation weighting. And that is exactly what it implies. It is how much does this demographic care about your company prestige and how much does it care about your company reputation. Also very handy so that you don't run into, let's say, frustrating problems with your designs. We have put the table of various minimum safety requirement laws into this testing page so that into this market page, so that you don't make stupid decisions and then can't sell your cars just because you don't pass the minimum safety laws. Or you use leaded fuel when you're really supposed to not. And also what is in here, which previously was available only in list mode, as you can see here, the budget, is that you can now see straight in this matrix mode what the budget of the categories are. So let's move forward to the engineering, which all has been a little bit upgraded so that it's easier to understand while playing the campaign. And for instance, we have added tooltips in a lot of places just to make sure that it's clear what's going on here. And we made it such that you no longer have to individually choose a reliability, but it's just applied across the board, which makes much more sense. And as you can see here in the tooltip, yay, much more information. You can see how it's affecting time and costs, and also the total engineering costs and time are thrown in here because the tooltip is actually covering that statistic right there. Same goes for the funding slider, so that you can see what's happening there. The focus slider is locked for now, and it won't unlock in the Light Campaign because we don't have implemented dynamic staff members yet. So if you would pull it to learning, you would basically only lose stuff because your guys and gals don't gain any experience. So here, factory, this is probably the worst screen currently, which is difficult to understand and or just confusing because you don't have enough information, and we're going to work on this a little more. We probably will be having a new design for it for latest version 2 of the Light Campaign, which is coming in the next few weeks. This data needs to be displayed a little better. Also, what they're currently producing, this is of course the start of the Light Campaign, so it's very easy to choose, but once the game becomes a little more complex, I've heard many people request a little bit more of an overview screen so that you know what kind of productions are currently in and which one do you actually want to switch out for the new one you're currently designing. That would be a good thing to add, and we are looking into that. Don't expect wonders because we don't want to invest like massive amounts of time into making fancy overview screens which show you everything, as that would all be completely wasted work for the Unreal version, or almost all work would be completely wasted because we have to rebuild everything anyway. So here we have also lots more information for you, how things work, what they affect, tooltips here, as you can see. The same goes for the engine factory, but what has changed over the course of a few updates is that we now have something which just makes a lot more sense. Wait, let me just set up this nicely. Oh, we lock this one, and now everything in here has tooltips as well. They are all over the place, but we really can't be bothered polishing that now because that is just wasting time for us to to get on with the Unreal version. So yes, it is very unpolished, but polishing it just takes too much time now, and it will be wasted anyway. So as long as the information is there and clearly visible, we think that should be a workable place to be right now, considering where we are with the campaign and the Unreal version. So we can of course set the production sliders here, but what really is handy now is, you saw we have 2 engine types, and now previously you had to like fiddle around with the shifts to make them work, like 61, and then now we are missing a lot of engines here, so we have to up the shifts, but then this one is off again, and then we have to adapt that. And now it's very simple, you just press this button and you're done. So that is a lot better. Yeah, this market tab of course also has your valuable statistics now, the additional ones, but no longer has any, that one doesn't have the information down here. We moved the buttons for the different modes, which previously were up here, to down in the middle, where you're already familiar with having them from the testing tab here. If we take a look at sales, you will be using a lot when setting up your production, so that you see which categories you are going to sell into. And these are the sales per day. We are kind of pondering if we should switch everything to a per month basis. And what you have seen maybe in the patch notes is that we have made months always be 30 days, so that it's that you don't get artifacts from February where suddenly your sales numbers drop and so on. And also it can be useful to just displaying more consistent information. Alright, then we have this tab, which is really handy, as this has been probably the tab with the most improvement on it. So now you are seeing your monthly sales data here, or the prognosis of monthly sales data. And this number here is the ratio between demand and production. And you, instead of jumping back and forth between your base markup setup and your production and stuff, you can do everything in here now if you want to. Let's see, for example, here. We are seeing that, yeah, we basically need a few more base cars, but overall we are producing a little bit too much, so let's just pull back shifts. And this is also changing how many engines are produced, so it's all being adjusted and accounted for so that you don't overproduce massive amounts of engines. And we now see, well, this is much better now, but this number is still very bad, so we can unlock this and just pull it down, and you see, yeah, now it's getting there. And now we're producing about parity, but we think this will make the flow of the campaign a lot better. This is another little neat feature we just implemented yesterday afternoon. That is, I saw that sometimes you want to pause on the start of the next year to just make use of the new tech which just was unlocked. So on the 1st of January you wanted to make a new car, and then you just pressed OK here while still being on super fast forward, and basically missed half a month, or even worse, a complete month or something like that. And that's of course stupid, so now there are 2 buttons here. One for just continue on, and one for pause the game please. Alright, here we have the first month of sales. Obviously I'm going to go bankrupt because I didn't watch what kind of factories I set up. But this is now showing you the tabs a little bit more in a reasonable way, or more consistent way. You see the dark categories here are all the demographics which haven't unlocked yet, which don't exist yet. And that has been carried over to the actual markets tab in the design, so that you know you're not designing for something that doesn't exist yet. That's of course handy. There will be some tooltips in here as well, but we haven't gotten around to those yet. Alright, so how are we continuing this? Well, we just conducted the straw poll thing for what features you guys want to see in the next Light Campaign update. I think we only need a few more days of bug fixing, and probably early to mid next week we should be able to push the Light Campaign version 1 out into the public branch and update also the standalone version of it. And then move on to, like I said, version V2 for a short amount of time, and then just continuing development for the next big update. So far, we're pretty happy with how this has turned out. We are going to implement, like you chose, the engineering familiarity as well as the simplified R&D mechanics into the Light Campaign version 2. We are really looking forward to having that in. That will be exciting, and a much needed money sink, especially for the later stages of the Light Campaign. Of course, with so many features still missing, the gameplay overall is what some people would call a little bit lackluster, considering it's supposed to be a tycoon game and stuff. On the other hand, it's already a lot better than we even planned to have for the Light Campaign, as that was supposed to be a minimum feasible core gameplay loop, and that it certainly is already. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed, and enjoy the next few updates as well, and then Light Campaign V2. Of course, I'm going to make a little dev update about that once it's ready. If you want to check out a few more Let's Plays of this, head over to my channel, Killer Plays, and well, yeah, I think that's it. So, hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time!